Hey everyone, I've been really sick, so I apologize for the way I look in this video, and I've been homesick yesterday and today, but I wanted to do this video, so I'm just going to get it done, so I apologize how it's not going to look amazing, but lots of good information. Today, I'm going to talk to you guys about how to add carbs back into your diet. So those of you who've been in ketosis for a while, yes, if you don't know this, you absolutely can add carbs back into your diet. Carbs are not evil. I don't want people to think that I do a ketogenic lifestyle just because I think carbs are horrible. I don't think that at all. I think definitely carbs and too much of them can play a huge part in our health, but I don't think carbs by themselves are bad, or there are some good carbs, I guess we can say it that way, and there's some that are maybe not as good for us, or they're unnecessary, really. We just enjoy them. I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely love carbs. I mean, if I could choose anything, I'm going to choose bread and pasta and French fries, and I love carbs, but I also know they're not as good for me and not as good for weight loss. So if you're on a ketogenic diet and you're thinking about adding in carbs, stay tuned. I'm going to teach you how to do it. For those of you who maybe are trying to go to a low carb lifestyle, this is also going to be a good video, because this is going to be carb cycling and carb refeeds, basically, and then you could even do like a carb night. So for those of you who are in deep ketosis, if you're just moving back, this is how I started, is that every 7 days you're allowed to have one carb refeed day. Now, that does not mean you're going out and eating pizza and eating a bunch of junk food or eating cupcakes. Honestly, if you do that, you're going to get really sick. Just like fasting, or being people will do, I see this all the time, but do like a smoothie fast, and then they decide to go drink a bunch of alcohol or something, and I'm like, not a smart idea. And they're so sick because they haven't exposed their body to anything for, a couple weeks to a month. So you need to be very careful about how you're doing this. So, I mean, what I started doing is I started adding in blueberries, just to add a little bit more in, or a half an apple or something, and just see what my body did with it. And what I noticed is my energy went up just a little bit. I'm like, oh, okay. But I also had to be careful. If I did too much, then I started to notice, when I played volleyball or something, I would just start to go downhill very quickly. So there is an amount. So you can play with that. So until you kind of get that down, you can just do a once a week carb refeed if you want to. Now, there are such thing as carb ups, where you can add carbs in the morning to your diet, or you can add carbs at night. Because again, carbs are not evil. I don't want people to think that they're evil. And it's going to make you want them even more if you think that they're evil. So you could add some berries to breakfast, or you could add them, I'm just using berries for example, at night. And some people, you need a little bit more sugar for your brain while you're sleeping. So some people do better with it. I actually found out that I do, and I will drop more weight overnight if I do my carbs right before I go to bed, which kind of seems contradictory. I didn't think that was right, but my naturopathic doctor asked me to try doing with my hypoglycemia to eat something a little bit higher carb, or peanut butter, right before I go to bed. And I was like, oh, I don't know. And over the night, I actually burned I burned enough that I went down 3 pounds on the scale the next day. So carb refeeding is good. The other thing you can do is you can do carb cycling. So you can maybe pick 3 days a week you add in carbs, and the other days you don't. So if you do enjoy your cheese, if you do enjoy a little bit higher carb things, you want more nut butters, you want some fruit or something, you can even try and add it in from 1 to maybe 3 days a week and see what you can do. Now, for guys, you can probably withstand a lot more carbs because you'll burn more because you have more muscle mass. For us women, you're going to have to play with it. For you, you could go up to 50, maybe even 100, but it could be that maybe that's all you can really handle is an extra grams and carbohydrate that way. You'll have to play with it. But even being in ketosis, if you're in ketosis most of the time, even the next day when you're eating carbs, your body will burn it. So I found for me about 2 to 3 times a week I could have carbs if I'm keeping it low. If I do more than that, I just retain weight. So I think that's a really good thing to start with for everyone if you want to. That's the carb cycling, carb nite. But the thing is, you need to still know your calorie intake basically. And so you're going to be swapping some of that fat out for the carbohydrate. You're not having both. And you're probably going to have more trouble if you keep both. So keep your protein high and don't eat the fruit by itself, because if you're in ketosis, just eating sugar, your body, it'll hit you way too quickly and you'll be like, ah. So if you're going to have a little bit of fruit or something higher carb, let's say maybe a sweet potato, make sure you do a little bit of a protein with that, just to give your body something else to digest with that carb so it doesn't spike you and you don't want to drop. So give it a go. Tell me if you guys are trying this or if you've added carbs back in your life or you're trying to limit your carb intake. Tell me what kind of carb refeeding or when you find it's best. Do you like it better in the morning, in the afternoon, or right before you go to bed like me? So let me know how it went for you guys and if this video helped, or if you want me to go in more depth about what I'm eating and how I eat it, like the amounts of things, we can get into that. All right, see you guys later.